Thank you for joining Reclaiming Timeless Ways, episode 100. Yes, the golf clap from Mike. They always moral compass, the focus, the pain in our asses, the guy that holds us to the fire, that talks so much logic and sense and makes us remember the good old-fashioned ways and how we need to rekindle that spirit. Here he is, Mike Traister.
When you look at an old-time movie and you see that people talk to each other differently,
Yeah.
you're actually in a time machine looking at people who didn't have decades and decades and decades of rehearsed pretense.
Yeah.
It was healthier.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't resume that.
And that's what Mike does. He holds our, our rear to the fire. And that's good. We need it. I need it. I hope you find some value in it as well. And this one is going to be another topic that hopefully will take a nugget, if only just a nugget of each show. That is our goal.
Right.
So man as a hero versus man as a person. What were you thinking in this title, Mike?
Well, the old image of a guy getting out of a horse-drawn carriage, and he has a very expensive cape on.
Right.
And he lays it on the muddy ground so a woman doesn't soil her shoe.
Yeah.
That's a hero. Yeah. I didn't say that was healthy.
Right.
I didn't say that was sane.
Right.
I said he's a hero.
Right.
But we're going to put that word in quotes. That's expected of him. Yeah. He's expected to be like a tool that gets used up.
Sure.
Right? Like a grinding wheel. It gets broken down and thrown away.
When it's all said and done, he needs this nice
there you go.
Sharpening stone you brought me, Mike.
He does. Nice Arkansas stone. We'll call it, Simon calls it a Kentucky stone, so.
That's great. That's what I'm going to remember it as.
Right, and I was making fun of Arkansas earlier. So the question is, if you're stronger than someone and some harm comes their way and you can help them, is that a bad thing? No, it's not bad, it's noble. Mm-hmm. But to be cast into that role so you're a useful and consumable person, which means you're a throwaway.
Yeah.
This is very destructive.
Sure.
Right? So you could be a soldier, a fireman, a cop, right? An emergency room physician. So you have to pour out immense amounts of energy, maybe even in harm's way. But does that mean that you are throwaway?
Of course not.
So you talk to some guy and he just got married, and his wife says to him, "Oh, by the way, I'm $100,000 in debt," and then she starts wringing her hands very theatrically. "I don't know what to do." "Oh, I'll help you." Now, she entered into that marriage contract fraudulently. She kept it a secret. But now that he's on the hook, she's going to tell him. And no matter how innocent she appears to be, she's not. Not to him and not to herself.
No.
That was planned.
Right.
She didn't dwell on it 24/7, but she dwelled on it enough to know exactly how she was going to do it.
Yeah, and in that case, you're saying, so how is he cast as the hero? Is that heroic, or and is the idea, the build up, the job title of man to have to be the hero, so to speak?
Right, and to what extent, for how long, and at what cost?
Right.
So I know of somebody who I didn't particularly like, who came from a family that I less than liked. And the people in this family were clever and destructive.
Okay.
I'm being extremely kind. Okay.
Which is unlike you, Mike.
I know.
I'm joking.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm so
This is our
sorry.
100th show. I'm waiting for the big bang.
So he worked his ass off into his old age, and one night he sat in his chair and dropped dead. They
Right.
killed him. They ate him,
Yeah.
right? He was like a goldfish, and they were piranhas. And he worked and worked and worked until he was destroyed.
Yeah. Worn out.
And then when he was dead, they all felt sorry for themselves, not for him. Now, he was a hero,
Yeah.
but he was not a person.
Yeah.
But he agreed to it because in his training, he was trained
That's
from,
what he was supposed to do.
you're either a hero or you're a piece of shit.
Right.
You're a coward. You're worthless. You're not a man. It's like, does that mean that you never stand up and help anybody? No. Once upon a time, I stood up to 5 guys who were beating up some old men, almost killed one of the old men. They threw him through a plate glass window, and I stopped all of them, and they were not in any condition to continue
Yeah.
when I was done. Now, when I was finished with that, I felt terrified. Just terrified. It was overwhelmingly scary, you know. They were not feeling anything. They were unconscious, which made me happy. I missed one. One got away, which to this day, I'm sad about that. I wanted to hurt him, you know.
Yeah.
How could you not? But would I want to do that on a regular basis? If the world was a cartoon and I was Green Lantern, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But as a mortal human being, no, it would destroy me.
Yeah.
You know, it would chew me up and spit me out like popcorn,
Yeah.
you know? But this is what we're trained to be taken and used up, and it's so wrong.
Yeah.
It's so wrong. So what's what's that chivalry? I hate that word.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. You look at our sons, and somebody in some place worships, presents this young man as being highly chivalrous. That's a trap.
Yeah. You know, and it's this fine line. I'm listening, and there's nothing wrong with what you're saying.
Right.
The key is all these things that we're talking about are okay for a man to do.
Right.
It's not
Absolutely.
okay for that to be the expectation.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's okay to open the door for a gal. It's okay
Absolutely.
to do nice things.
I
That's
love
not what we're
opening.
saying.
I love opening the door for people.
Yeah,
Love it.
but it's when it becomes the expectation and you're nothing without that.
And you are consumable. Your purpose is to be consumed. Like the old guy that died in his chair after he got used up,
Yeah.
right? The goldfish in the tank with the helpless piranhas.
Right.
Well, guess what? They weren't helpless.
Yeah. Right.
So this is not how we should raise kids, you know, to be either the predator victims or the tool that gets used up and discarded and replaced, right? And who does it get replaced with? With another hero who gets,
Right.
and what happens to him? Exactly the same damn thing, no difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So necessary to think it through because we're condemning our sons
Yeah.
to that fate.
And on the flip side, if you're teaching, if I'm teaching my daughter, I want her to find a man on the flip side that will treat her right.
Right, absolutely.
That doesn't mean someone who will be at the beck and call.
No.
No relationship is healthy when it works that way.
Step and fetch? No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. No. Then she's she's what I call a venomous princess.
Right.
And he is dead,
Right.
you know. Dead is bad, you know.
And Mike's been bit. He knows, but he
I
survived.
have been bit real hard, and them fangs were hollow. And yeah, and you don't realize it. You know, I think we usually repeat a pattern several times before we begin to gain insight, and we stop saying, "Why does this happen to me?" And we get into this. Oh my God, I've been patterned to be attracted to this,
Right,
and here's why.
right.
Here's the mechanism behind it. And then you step back and you go, that's not candy.
Right, right.
You know?
Stay out of that dish.
Yeah, yeah. And that's that subject. And
We made it to 100, Mike.
100.
We don't look a day over 98. Pleasure.
Amazing.
And thank you for joining us for the ride, whether this is your first episode or not. You've still got several to catch up on, and we hope you'll like it. We hope you'll share us. And of course, we hope you'll push the little get notifications button, so anytime a new episode drops, you'll know too. Thank you for joining us today. Yes?
We really hope that this reaches someone and helps them get out of the ditch that they might be in.
So please share.
Yeah.
Not every one of these 100 is meant
No.
for you specifically. We hope one out of the 100 is.
Yeah.
And if you know somebody else that can benefit, please share.
100. Remarkable.
Very good.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Until next time.